Okay, let's go again. Let's see if this flows through more harmoniously. So, inner child healing. What is inner child healing, and how do we go about undertaking this journey? This journey of reconnecting or rediscovering to parts of ourselves that we have left behind that are perhaps hidden in the darkness of the mind. Subconscious mind. It operates about 95% of our life. And we are subconsciously able to perceive about 11 million bits of data every second, but consciously only perceive 40 bits of data. So you can see that the subconscious mind is actually able to process far beyond what we are consciously ever able to even begin to entertain in an informational, conceptual viewpoint. Hello, Rachel. Good to see you. Good morning. Morning. Actually, let's have a look at that word very quickly. Mourning. What do we do when somebody dies? What do we do when something passes? We go into mourning, do we not? Why are we mourning the day? Why are we greeting each other in mourning at the start of the day before it has even begun? Mourning. Well, no, I'm not in mourning. I'm actually celebrating the day. So grand rising, Rachel. Grand rising to you and to yours. If you have asked to come in purposefully, then let me know if there's a question you'd like to ask. I'd love to have you come on to answer that question, and maybe even to do a short inner child healing walkthrough. Is discovering alternative viewpoints, alternative reasons to certain situations, is taking the pains of the past and turning them into the fuel for positive change, is using the shit of life as fertilizer to dig into the garden of our mind and to grow our seeds more big and more beautiful than we could have done without that shit. Yes, my brother, how are you, Mr. P? Good to see you, beautiful man. So let's go back. Let's use an experience I had as a child as an indication as to the way the subconscious mind works to be you to the full. Yes, brother, you know that. You fucking beautiful man. To be you to the full is what it means to be beautiful, to live authentically, wildly, and freely. And that harmonizes with that. It's a full fat fuck yes, or it's a no. So it's a full fat fuck yes, or it's a no. Sometimes we do have to do things in life that perhaps we aren't a full fat fuck yes about in the moment, but that allows us to then lead to those full fat fuck yeses. Going to work. Well, I don't actually classify what I do as work. I love what I do. So yes, that's a full fat fuck yes. Doing housework, washing up as an example. Well, actually, as I've expressed to my youngest son, that is a full fat fuck yes, because it's something I used to have to do as a child growing up. And I used to be a little bit disheartened or put out. I was 4 years older than my second eldest sibling. So I was a lot more responsible for a lot of things. So after dinner, I'd have to wash up. They all got to go and play, and there was resentment experienced. And after a period of time of sitting with myself and feeling that resentment and that frustration, I came to the conclusion as a child that actually I'm going to be here one way or the other. I'm going to be washing up, so I may as well make it the best it can be. I may as well make it a meditative experience. I like washing up now. It's a form of meditation. It connects me to myself, my thoughts, in the moment of now. And anything we can do that brings us into now, exits us from the busy monkey mind and the desire to control the future or change the past, and then we become present in the moment of now, the gift that keeps on giving, which is why it is called the present. So back to inner child healing. Let's use the example of when I express myself in a vocal, feminine, high-pitched tone. I was in the back of my dad's car in Portugal. A Mel C song came on. I run to you like a river. Well, however it goes. I can't remember the words, but I run to you. I started singing. And he turned around and he's like, shut up, you little faggot. And in that moment, I went, fuck, hide, keep quiet, keep small. And then my way of keeping myself safe became to keep myself very small, very quiet. And I used to then talk like this. And I wouldn't really submit, and I would talk like this. And I was talking like this because although I wanted my expression to be heard, I didn't want it to be wrong. So if I kept myself really small and then I just kind of like cowered down, then maybe I'd be okay. Maybe I wouldn't re-experience that trauma that I experienced as a child. Which in some ways, yes, it did keep me safe. It did stop me being traumatized. Nobody got to hear what it was that I said, so I obviously didn't wrong it. But I was wronging myself continuously. I know, you beautiful being. And this went on for years and years and years and years. And the more lost in myself that I became, the more I felt unworthy and disconnected from my truth, able to express myself freely. The less beautiful to be you to the full that I felt over the years, the more hostile I became, the more that I put on that body armor. And I did. I walked around like this. Look at the fucking state of that. And it's still there inside me. And there are some people that still want to bring that version of me out because it's who they understood. They still want me to go into the trenches of pain and suffering and misery with them. Oh, okay, Rachel, beautiful. Yes, let's have you on and talk through that, please. Yeah, hiding away from my truth in that body armor, hiding the inner child away in the defense mechanism that upon this journey of awakening, the biggest transformation that my mum actually noted was the fact that she could hear me talking, hear me expressing myself, because actually what I've got to say is valid. It does merit the time and the space required to be received. And now I share my view, my truth. I share what has supported me in my journey to support you. Because it's almost that those of us that have walked in the darkness alone for such a long time, and we have found the light upon the other side, well, are we not responsible for ourselves and our actions? And then accordingly, if we're able to echo out this information to others, we can support them in becoming responsible for their own actions and creating their own transformations and becoming the creators of their own reality, the kings and the queens of their own kingdom and queendoms accordingly. Rachel, would you like to come on and talk through it a little bit? Share your journey, share your experience. If you come and talk through a little bit with me, then I'll be able to see very effortlessly a pinpoint of a moment in the interactions that you experienced that created a certain belief in your place in society. And then we can talk about how you would actually start to reframe that and the deeper dive work that we could undertake, where we go back to discover the root cause of a certain limiting belief or negative program. And we discover what it is that the subconscious mind needs from that experience to let go of the limiting belief or negative program that was installed as a safety protocol or mechanism, letting go of that and then moving forwards into the life that we desire and deserve and that we know exists inside. We know that version of ourselves exists. We know. So then it's uncovering and allowing ourselves, it's giving ourselves permission to be that most beautiful version of ourselves, the authentic, wild and free version, the version that expresses our truth accordingly, that says no when we mean no and yes when we mean yes, and we don't people please. Because again, people pleasing, as much as is something that we have learnt that limits us, and that most of us that are people pleasers are empaths, and we try to ease the pain of another person because we don't want them to be in pain, because we understand what it means to be in pain. My voice keeps changing. Interesting. I think it is, yes. Somebody did say that the voice was coming through a little bit ski-whiff. People pleasing. Yes, it's a desire to not have the other person in pain because we understand and experience pain ourselves and we don't want another to be in that same place. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Hello, I have a very low voice and I also have a very high voice. Do you like my singing? Okay, let's not go down that path. Focus. Okay. Right, I've completely lost my track of thought there. Where were we? People-pleasing tendencies, being an empath. Okay. So, being an empath, feeling other people's pains, not wanting them to be in pain, but also actually not wanting to be in pain ourselves. When we feel another person's pain, we feel that pain within ourselves. Actually, it's not their pain we feel, it's our own pain that is then animated within ourselves when we come into contact with somebody else in that same frequency. So then we want them to stop being in pain because we don't want to feel that pain ourselves. So then we want to take away their pain so that we don't experience that pain. So actually that is a form of a desire to control another person and to change the way that they are, which if we were to look at it as the most simple of labels, well, it's quite narcissistic in tendency. I want to control another person's behavior or viewpoint or experiences so that we don't experience what we don't want to alongside them. So it's remembering that each and every one of us, our journey is unique within ourselves, and that when we allow for every person to walk their own path accordingly, we know that all rivers lead back to the ocean. They all just take different twists and turns and ups and downs to get to that space and place. So if somebody is suffering, that is for them to learn and to grow through. If you want to sit alongside them, to sit with them, to support them, and you feel into their feelings as an empath, then it means that you can better understand the situation and support and bring maybe information to the surface that will benefit them. But what isn't beneficial is when we then try to control or to change them. Thank you, Rachel. Yes, DM me and we'll have a chat. We'll talk through what it is that can be most beneficial for you moving forwards. There is actually an online course, a 7-day training that has the foundation of an understanding of the subconscious mind, various reconnections to worth, cutting cords, writing letters of releasing everything that was put upon us or we experienced as children, giving it back to our parents, basically writing a letter saying this was not okay, that was not okay, when I experienced this, it caused this. Here's back all of that pain and that turmoil and that negative energy, and then a letter of recognition to know that our parents did the best that they could with the information they had at their disposal, just as we all do. That they were subject to their own experiences, most often traumatic. They didn't feel good enough themselves. And if somebody doesn't know what it feels like to be loved unconditionally, then how do we expect them to be able to love unconditionally? Yes, it would most definitely be really powerful if we did a live together one day. You're an amazing being. Very much looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Excited. Come and be. Spend time with the divine feminine in her flow, just being, nothing to do, nowhere to go. Beautiful. And that is what it is to really live in harmony and alignment with our truth. We are human beings, yes, not human doings. So it is about being, not doing. The more we be, the more we be. Maybe my voice is slightly changing itself anyway. Stepping into this more authoritative masculine presence. Hello. people. I am here now. I'm feeling very confident, very grounded and secure in being, in doing, through being. Honest to God, when we let go of the people-pleasing tendencies, when we let go of the need to be received or approved of or accepted for being a particular way or by particular people, my desire to be accepted and approved of by my dad years ago, I'm going to be like my dad, fucking headbutt my way through shit. I'm going to hurt people because I'm hurt. Yeah, okay, great. How did that work out? Well, it just caused me a lot of pain, to be honest. A lot of pain. Well, through that pain, through that darkness, was part of the journey to come back to the light. Okay. So actually it was required. It was all part of my journey. Yes, it was. But it's not something that I need to pass down to my children, because that has been experienced through this ancestral lineage. Okay, perfect. Now, there is no longer a requirement to be accepted or approved of by the masculine that was, again, originally my father, who I desired his approval and acceptance of, and then actually evolved into another man who was incredibly important in my journey of recent years, my business partner. That, again, I found myself contorting and deforming myself to be seen by, to be accepted by, to be validated in what it was that I did. Being told the whole way through that he didn't want me to change because he loved the person that I am and what it is that I brought to Unguided Warrior. But telling somebody that you don't want them to change has the undercurrent of a want to change in it. Otherwise, why would it be speaking about a want to change or a not want to change unless there was a want to change? Now that I have fully stepped back onto my own ship, as it were, sailing, journeying in my own direction towards my chosen destination, which is just to be and to exist as a heart-centered being, and to bring this information, this transformation, the liberation and empowerment to as many people and as many spaces as we are able, is all happening for me again. Life just feels as though it's this magical, abundant experience. I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know where the resources will come from, where all of these connections will take place, how we're going to distribute this information in as many spaces and platforms that it requires, let's say, to get it out to everybody. But I know it's happening, and I know it's happening for me, never to me. This happens when we go back to discover the root cause of those feelings of lack, of limitation, of unworthiness, of victimization, etc., etc. This is also how we overcome some form or any form of negative behavioral patterns and limiting programs, addictions. I used to have an addiction to a substance that is ingrained into my name. Kaine. Cocaine. It was something that was always in my field of vision, that was a massive part of my journey. And my father got arrested for importing £40 million worth of cocaine. It's part of my ancestral lineage on the masculine and feminine side of the track. And I realized the last time I did it, being a year and a half or so ago, I discovered where it came from, that feeling of a need to have that substance to feel good enough in certain situations. And it was through the connection to my father. It was when I got to know him the most years ago, when we spent a long time in that frequency together. So every time that I would feel perhaps there was a lack in myself of a authoritative or domineering masculine energy, unless I had that feeling that he brought me, that substance brought me, I wouldn't be able to go outside and to be respected or authoritative on a night out. Yes, clinging on, grasping to a version of myself that never actually existed other than in my mind, and a projection to be accepted and approved of by somebody else who actually never accepted and approved of themselves. And that is the most powerful statement that I could share with you in this inner child healing journey. Our parents that are unable to love and accept us as who we are unable to, because they're unable to love and accept themselves as they are. So they're never going to be able to accept or love us as the unique, authentic versions of ourselves, because we're going to remind them of how far away they are from that truth themselves. So it's allowing for our parents to just be conscious, sentient beings with their own issues, their own flaws, their own trials and tribulations, as well as their own unique beauty and what it is that they positively and beneficially bring to the table, of course. But as children, we look at our parents as superheroes. And then when we find out that they're not, well, it can be quite upsetting. So, you are the hero of your own fable. You are the main character of your own story. And it is remembering that without a villain, there is no superhero. So without the parts of ourselves that we feel are less than, that are lacking, that are holding us back, it wouldn't show us where we could improve, where we could develop, where we could let go of the old to create the space to transform into the new. And just as that caterpillar that goes into a chrysalis of darkness that has to go into themselves, I have not yet come across somebody that has not gone into a period of hermit mode, if you like, of self-reflection, of being able to sit in their own energetics as opposed to feeling other people's energies and perhaps being contorted and distorted by those to fit in. We separate, we go into the darkness and we sit. And then we really get to understand ourselves, to inner-stand ourselves, to stop trying to understand anybody and placing ourselves under them, and instead to inner-stand the way that certain behaviours make us feel within ourselves. Because I can't understand that person or their behaviours, but I can inner-stand the way that that makes me feel. And if it makes me feel any form of lack or limitation or a feeling of victimization, then I get to check, to ask why I feel that way, to go back to discover the root cause, and then discover the information required by the subconscious mind from that experience to let go of the feeling of victimization or limitation through that experience, to realize that I was always safe, I was always good enough, I was always loved. Maybe not accordingly by the person that I desired it, but it's not because I was unlovable or I didn't deserve to be loved. It was because they are unable to express that love, because they're unable to feel it in themselves. Blessed are we who live happy, wild and free. And know that we are the creators of our own reality, and that it's what we focus upon, that what we see, and then what we feed into accordingly. As where our attention goes, our energy flows, and what we focus upon is what we grow. So, this is your call to action, your reminder, if you like, to focus on the solution as opposed to the problem. To know that every step of the journey that we have taken thus far is what has brought us to where we are. And where we are and the versions of ourselves today is exactly who it is that we need to be and where we need to be to move forwards from to where it is that we are going. And again, if I had not been or felt as though I was repressed and ridiculed for my expression of self in the past, I would not have hidden it. I would not have taken the journey that I did. And I would not then have learned everything that I have done up until this point, and be in a place where I am now very much dedicated and determined to be that beacon of inspiration, to remind as many people, to be the light in the dark, if you like, because it does seem that when we look, there are darkness and fright all around. But at the same time, without the darkness, there is nowhere for the light to shine. And if it all exists inside and is a projection to be experienced externally, then actually there is nothing to fear. There is no fight to be won. There is no battle. And focusing on war with a hatred for it, well, that's just going to create more of it. As a hatred for war will only create hatred and war. It is a love for peace that will actualize love and peace. So, focus on that which you wish to experience more of. Overlay a frequency of gratitude by writing out gratitude journals for what you are already grateful for in life, and then writing out as though it is in the now, I am grateful for X, Y, and Z that you would like to call in more of. Write letters of accreditation and acknowledgement to yourself. I am statements or mantras, again with the words and the frequencies of the ways of being, the mindset, the energies, the physical embodiment and material experiences of what you want to call in. I am abundant. I am connected. I am successful. I am determined. I am acknowledged. I am respected, etc., etc. Write it out with the dominant and then subdominant hand to harmonize the left and right hemisphere of the brain, the masculine, feminine, the conscious, or let's say the logical and the creative minds, and also the more adult type of mindset and the more childlike when we enter into the more subdominant hand. All of these sorts of techniques, they're all housed on a Google Drive, so anything I can do to support you, please let me know and I'll send you over the breakdown of the instruction so that you have a reference point to move forwards from. And then as always, everything you do, make it yours. Because what works for me, works for me. The ingredients that I like to put in a curry are the ones that are palatable to me. So yes, try the ingredients that I am bringing to the table. But all I am here to do is to remind you of your truth. That you already know it all deep inside. That everything you require is already within. That you are the answer to your own prayers. And it all starts now. This moment of now. Whether you're watching this now or on repeat, whenever you're receiving this, now is your call to action. To create those changes, those small changes, 1% each day. Yes, beautiful soul. 1% each day, compounded over time. Just think where we'll be individually and collectively at the end of this year, because this is our year. This is our year to shine and to rise. As united, we rise. So, we're going to do with the rest of your gift of today. Every day, 86,400 moments of now we get, each of us. How we spend those moments of now is up to us. Focusing on the problem and feeding into it, or focusing on the solution and feeding into that accordingly. I say, if I can support, let me know. I'll send you over the most relevant information. Inner child healing, again, follow the links in the bio. Go on to all of our trainings, and it will link you to a Udemy page where everything, well, the courses are reduced ridiculously by about 80% at the moment. So it's like $20 to take a week-long inner child healing course, which will give you a very powerful understanding and transformation to then propel you forward upon your journey. And then after that, if you would like to set up a call, we can jump on a call together, we can talk through the next steps in your journey, create you a personalized plan of action And for those of you that are really serious about your awakening and transformational journey, there is the 12-week mentorship program where we, again, journey, because it is this inner journey, alongside each other. If you're going to walk through a dark and omissing rainforest to get to a certain space or place where you know that there is a treasure at the center of it, let's say, you can either walk that path alone because it's your journey to take, or more often than not, you would hire or task a guide to support you upon your journey. Dun, 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 dun. 10. Loving it. Loving you. It's your eyes of perception that are able to receive this information. So I am that guide. I am the guide that has been sent to support you on your journey of inner discovery, liberation, and transformation. To go back to the traumatic events of old that are locked in your subconscious mind and keeping you stuck and distorted and separate to your truth. To go back there together, to rediscover and reintegrate that version of you, because again, we only ever complete ourselves with ourselves. Enlightenment is to exist in a state of acceptance of all that is, was, or ever shall be within the light. But first, in order to exist in a state of acceptance within the light, we must venture back into the darkness of the mind to discover the parts of ourselves that have been lost and fragmented there, the parts that we have been shameful about, that have been traumatized, that the subconscious mind has taken and hidden away to protect us from that shame and trauma, to bring them back in, to realize actually that there is no shame, that experience is part of the whole, and that as difficult as it may have been in the moment, and as ill-equipped that I might have been as a child to be able to deal with that situation, as a conscious adult of today, I am now responsible for the way that I behave, as opposed to reacting from that place of trauma of old. I'm going to learn what it is that I need to from that event to integrate that version of me and bring them back home and set myself free. Sounds fucking good if you ask me. Then it is. Again, the difference in my journey and the version of me today that used to be this fucking hostile, angry cunt, because that's what I used to get called all the time. So that's the way I behaved. I was so angry. I was in so much pain that that's all I wanted to project externally. That's all I experienced, because that's who I was. And the internal is then experienced, projected, and received back externally. Going back and reconnecting, bringing back home all those previous versions of myself that I had shut out, that was shameful or traumatic experiences that had left me fragmented and feeling so separate. I go back. Hello, Kaine. Hello, little Kaine. I love you. I keep you safe. Welcome home. Welcome home, you beautiful man. You beautiful young man. Come back home. Welcome home. I love you. I embrace you. I support you. I'm here to keep you safe. All those times that I felt as though I was under threat, all of those experiences of old that I had no safety protocol or no way of dealing with consciously because of the development of that young mind. Go back, I keep you safe. And it's almost as though we go back and we become our own guardian angel. It's all experienced up here, but the changes in here change everything else externally. Inner child healing is what has been the most transformative of labels to use the wordings in my journey, and that is why I champion it, and I will always deliver this to the world no matter where my journey takes me. Inner child healing will be a foundation that I will always champion and come back to. So from my heart to yours, I thank you for undertaking this journey of remembrance, because the awakening journey in my view is just remembering our truth. And I look forward to hearing about your journey in more detail. Send me a message if I can support, and anyone that would like any of those courses or Google Doc Drive information, letters of recognition to our parents, giving back all the shit and reclaiming back our energy, core cutting, full chakra re-cleansing, cleaning and energizing. There's the letter of I am mantras, which will harmonize the left and right hemisphere of the brain and connect you to the frequency of that which you wish to experience moving forwards, that you already are. I am, as opposed to I will or I do. And full embodiment technique, grounding routines, everything and anything on your spiritual awakening, awareness and self-development journey is all on a Google Drive, most of which is information I send clients through our 12-week journey together. So if it can support you, then I would love to send it to you simply because I can. As I say, there is also, hello you beautiful souls, there is also a multitude of online courses that are all now on Udemy, being massively reduced in the Udemy sign up section. So they're like $20 to take a week-long inner child healing course, as an example. Return to self-love, a week of perfect sleep, anxiety gone for good, one of the most fucking powerful ones that there is. And the most recent one that's literally gone up yesterday is the quantum healing, shifting and highest timeline activation full online training, another 7-day training. Very, 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 should I say it a few more times, very, very powerful. So have a blessed day. Keep being you, remembering that it is being you to the full, that it is to be beautiful, to live authentically, wildly and freely. We are that change we wish to see. We really are. And we are in a great time of change. And I'm so fucking excited to see what it is that we get to experience moving forwards. Today's mantra, as always, or a very powerful one that is an undercurrent that has supported me more than any other mantra: life happens for me, never to me. Life happens for me, never to me. Life happens for me, never to me. So then, embodying that, even the most difficult of trials or tribulations moving forwards, this is happening for me. I've been tripped up. Yes, thank you, God, for tripping me up, to give me a moment to recognize where I am and how far I've come, or to be able to look in the dirt and discover that treasure that I would otherwise never have found because I would have rushed past it. Thank you, universe, for providing me exactly what it is that I require to move from where I am to where it is that I desire. Remembering that all rivers lead back to the ocean. We're all going to get to that final destination. So it's enjoying the journey whilst we're here and whilst we are us. Because yes, in my view, we are eternal in nature, infinite in potential. And a beautiful woman. And at the same time, I'm only going to be me, this conscious version of myself, this physical representation of the universe experiencing itself in separation. This Kaine thing that I am, I'm only going to be me this one time. So I'm going to make this life, being this me, the best it can fucking be, because why the fuck not? So instead of asking ourselves why do I deserve it? Do I really need that new thing, or that nice holiday, or that weekend away, or that meal out with a friend? Do I really need that 2 hours to just be and give myself space and grace to sit in the bath with some candles and a book to read? Do I really need it? Why? Why do I deserve it? Why me? Why the fuck not? The universe is abundant. This world is abundant. There are very few people that have realized the laws of attraction and creation and have distorted and confused situation so that they have great amounts of wealth. It's already there. There is an ocean of wealth, an ocean of abundance. It's time to get our straws and to take ours, because that is us. We are all part of that same. The pain and suffering and the joy and liberation of humanity, it is all here. It all starts within the self. So, what small change can you make today that will create massive ripples moving forwards? And being that beacon of inspiration, reminding other people, giving people permission, as a man, permission to be powerful, to fucking speak your truth, my brother. and to express what it is that is being put or pushed upon us. Those walls, those divides that keep small. Keep quiet. Do as I tell you, not as I do. Permission to be powerful as a man. To be beautiful. To be you to the full. And women, permission to express your truth. To say, yes, it's fucking time to stand up and to be truly heard and seen. To allow for that feminine beauty and flow. To be acknowledged and then to be brought back home within the masculine as well. Because that has been the most impactful part of my journey of recent, is honouring the feminine. Thank you. Thank you for making me check myself. Eternally grateful to you, Emma. Eternally. It all starts and ends with the self, but sometimes we need those reflections with no real understanding as to why the depth of connection is so deep. But there is no alternative but to create those changes, because otherwise, when we look outside, all we see is a reflection of the fact that we are not in alignment with our truth. Sometimes we need to get so fed up with our own bullshit that we actually go, okay, there's a lot of shit here. What am I going to do with it? Use it as fertilizer and grow your flowers of intention within it, because it's time. It's time to fucking shine. Have an amazing rest of today, making it yours in every way. Remembering it might not be the best day ever, but by looking for the best in every situation, every interaction, every conversation, by looking for the best in yourself, you have the opportunity to see it. And the more that we see it, the more we believe it. Thank you all of you. So many divine feminine in my life now, all supporting me, all standing beside me. Why? Because I feel safe around you now. I no longer feel threatened by you. I no longer feel that you're going to try to take something from me, specifically my sexual creative energy, because I hold myself, I trust myself, I believe in myself, I am safe within myself. The feminine is safe. So because she's safe, she's no longer going to have to defend, which is not going to feel as though it is an attack. Fuck, man. No words need be said. Thank you. There's a word. Right. Love you all. You're amazing beings. Let's go. I'll catch you soon. Message me if I can support in any way. I'll send you the Google Drive docs. Let me know. I'll speak to you soon.